Hey everyone, this is episode 45 of Noodle Time. Welcome back. This week I'm gonna go ahead and cut OSG some slack because all three teams got 4 wins this past weekend. So that's a massive dubs everywhere. Everywhere you see just
Four
massive dubs.
four dubs across the board, bro. I love it. That was back with the Open Cup on Tuesday, and then all three games this weekend. Woohoo! Man, love the dubs. 12 points across the board. 10 goals, 1 goal conceded. Hey, that's a happy week.
No, yeah, as you can tell, OSG today is not a hater of anyone. He's just like the biggest winner. So we're here today
Mm,
to
mm,
discuss
mm.
all 4 dubs for the Dynamo Dash and Dynamo 2. And no, yeah, this is like a lot of positivity to go around, especially at the Dynamo because they've been coming off in a pretty tough stretch, and this upcoming week for the next 2 games, they're going to be on the road. They needed this morale boost, especially in that game against Austin where they fought hard and they got the job done. And no, yeah, the same goes for the Dash and Dynamo too. They still have like their some negative spots around the season, and these wins, thankfully, are some good turning points, especially for like the some past rough stretches. I don't know what you have to say about that because I was able to watch the Minnesota United game, but I wasn't able to watch it live, unfortunately. But yeah, I'm just excited to see how what you think about it.
Oh, dude, it was different. First off, starting with Minnesota, and then if you want to combine Austin together, but it was a little bit different of a game plan, which you can see Ben Olsen is trying to come out with a little bit. He's I think he answered one of my questions. I asked, can we get a little more attacking? Can we sacrifice some of that defense? And we felt like we played a little more forward in both those games. So that was exciting. Play. Dash, um, it's on the road. It was against a rival. You ended up winning. And then at the end of the game, after the Dash win, you're like, oh, it's on the road. We've been on the road. And then you kind of wash it away and you forget about it. So, the Dash win isn't as substantial. Like, thank God, against a rival, you beat them, but we need those home wins. So if you can win on the road and you can win on the home, you're the NWSL champion. So figure it friggin' out. And then Dose with the a rivalry game with the revenge game against Austin because we gave it up to them back in the beginning of the season. I think it was March. Yeah. March and just propel us up into the standings too after we got that win and to actually knock them down another spot in the standings. So, man, exciting times across the board. What's it do for the Dynamo in the future? It's obviously looking better than it did last year. I mean, we already have the wins. I think as many wins as we did last season. No, we had 10 wins last season. Sorry, but you get the drift where I'm going here. It's like we're looking good. We only have 3 draws, so we're winning or losing our matches. I think we're 13 or 14 games, so we're 6-5-3 or something like that. What and then advancing into the Open Cup. So exciting times in Hustle Town right now.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And with that, we can go ahead and start reviewing both Dynamo games. The Dynamo, of course, playing first Minnesota United in the U.S. Open Cup round of 16 on Tuesday, this past Tuesday, and
I, I hate you, Foxtrot. Baird is already outscoring Sebas. Dang it.
hey, look, I was gonna get to that. That was gonna be my main talking point because like I had to add some variety to to just like talk about Corey Baird scoring a hat trick and look, you can just say right away that like look, Minnesota was playing with 10 players and they pretty much just fell off a cliff after they got the second yellow at the 30th minute, 30 or so minutes if I remember correctly, but at the same time like they went a man down and Minnesota was playing very well throughout the first half up until of course Achache stepped in and messed up the entire second half for them, and it was just like one sided from there. And Corey Baird, of course, a hat trick for Corey Baird, which is not the news a lot of people were hoping to hear, especially the Corey Baird haters. But I mean, here we are. Corey Baird starts on the wing and he gets 3 goals.
Well, you know
and
what, and that's the big point right there. Corey Wing started on the wing and scored those 3 goals from the wing, not the striker position. So he didn't help his case as a striker at all for this season. But thank God he finally scored. And technically, our first goal was a penalty, right? Well, who grabbed the
yeah,
ball first? Who grabbed the ball first? Naturally, It
Naturally,
was it
naturally
was
it will be Bossy, but
it was
no,
Bossy, but no, actually, Bossy did grab the ball,
really.
but Baird came up and they talked, and Bossy handed the ball to Baird. So you can thank Bossy for allowing Baird to take the penalty kick, and then Baird just taking it cool and calm, and just to open up his scoring for the season is something. Obviously, it looks like that's what he needed. Does it open the floodgates, or does Corey go back to being Corey friggin' Baird? And I did a poll during the week to figure that out. I had over 100 votes. I forget, I think it's like 120 votes in the end. And it was 55% to where it's going to open the floodgates. So it was a positive poll for Corey Baird, and I hope it works out that way. I hope it works out that way. But, thank you, Bossy, for giving Corey Baird the penalty kick and opening up the floodgates.
Oh, yeah, and one of the things I also wanted to highlight from the first half, well, and just throughout the game, another a start for Brooklyn Reigns, and he looked pretty solid. Of course, as long as he doesn't start on the wing, like he's been finding success in the middle of the park and just driving the ball forward and getting those opportunities. I don't know if you recall, like early in the first half, but he got like a pretty clean shot. Like I believe he hit the crossbar, and I was gonna go crazy if that ball went in because like Brooklyn Reigns has been playing very well for a teenager.
Well, he's got some great confidence right now, man, especially as an 18-year-old. But that goes to the coaching staff for putting him in the situations that he's in, and giving him the confidence to play. He and obviously against Austin he didn't get to play, but he did get to play for Dose over the weekend at the same time. So they're utilizing him if they're not utilizing him at the same time. So he's getting the playing time. He's able to keep his form. He looks good, and the kid understands he's got Hector Herrera in front of him. He's got Coco Carrasquilla in front of him, and then he's not going to replace Arthur. So he knows he's got to wait for his time and just take advantage of it whenever he does get to play. So uh, a lot of people are proud of Booker Reigns, and like you said, 18-year-old, he's got a nice head on him. He knows what he's doing here, and I hope he keeps it up. And he will be. He's showing a lot of potential, man. So he could be one of those MLS stars once he just gets a little gets a little milk into the body, and um, you know, but he still fights. He fights for the ball. It's not like he's getting beat up over there. So he's just a great player. But he can push some people around. It gets a little milk into the body. But I look forward to continue to watching him and seeing what he can pull off, man. We're gonna need him during the season. That's for sure.
I don't know. Yeah, just moving to defense, like Andrew Tarbell, another start for him in the Open Cup, and another clean sheet. But I feel like that in this game in particular, like he has been helping out a lot, especially the back line that was featured by Talon Maples from Dynamo 2 captain Talon Maples. Like he did sign a short term deal to play this game, and this was also the first start for Eric Svitchenko with the Dynamo since coming in, so that was pretty big. And Wajid Morana featured as well. If I remember correctly, it was mostly featured as a center back because Brad Smith was fullback here again. And I don't know if you have like any thoughts on that because you were there at the game, and I do specifically recall them like adjusting things, especially in the second half because Minnesota they had like a lot of opportunities, especially when they were with 11 players.
Well, I mean, and it's the same way the defense we play all the time. Was we're not going to let you have the middle of the field. We're going to let you have the wing, so teams can come down at us at all times and get those crosses off. We have to defend those crosses better and not give teams opportunities to even take shots on us because they did have a couple shots and Tarble did have to make a couple of saves. So we just need to close down a little bit earlier whenever we're allowing these teams to come down the wings and that's fine to let them have the wings, but we're letting them get in too far deep before we put any pressure on them, and it's hurting the defense, putting the defense under pressure at the same time. But because we're so uh, cohesive together in the middle of the field, we're holding down the middle of the field, and we're not letting teams get those nice cutback cross shots when you're running across the top of the box or just free open shots because there's just too many people in the way. It's just not clear. The offense players can't take their time. So Clark's making the great saves that he's making. He's having a great freaking season, better than anybody probably would have expected for this season. But that back line, I think it is kind of the back three, back five, depending on if you're attacking or defending. But it was. I'm becoming a bigger fan of Morano. Mujib is just looking great playing with these first team players, so he's looking like he could adjust very well if he ended up becoming needing to fill some holes on the back line. Not likely because we have plenty of depth on the friggin' back line right now. So, uh, Mujib, you keep doing your job in the as a center back for Dose right now, and then Brad Smith on the left. Maple's getting the start, which I like. He deserves it. It was good for him to play with Shevchenko too, and him finally getting a start. He only played for 30 minutes. They subbed him out at halftime, and then he didn't get to play with the first team on Saturday with Austin. So that was kind of weird, him not getting to come in. But I can understand the situation. We didn't score the game winner till late against Austin, but hey, I like it. I mean, it's interesting. This three in the back is allowing us to push forward a little bit more and give us some forward passes instead of going out wide every single time with every pass. So I kind of like these little adjustments that we're seeing right here. And there's another big adjustments, but we'll talk about that here in a little bit because we're stuck on the defensive line right now. But hey. I like it. We clear the ball. We intercept the balls. We block the shots. So Tarble and Clark can keep playing the games that they're playing, and the defense just doesn't make any mental mistakes. I like where we're going.
No, yeah, and just the fact that they haven't conceded a single goal in the Open Cup so far, it's pretty big, especially in the earlier games. The Dynamo just looked pretty susceptible to concede. This game in particular, they just look much better defensively, and just credit to them for keeping that up and just keeping that standard in general.
Well,
And
Minnesota only had 4 shots total too.
no, yeah, that's the other thing, and obviously, like they had the Mendes advantage, which made things more complicated for them. But at the same
Uh,
time, they like I said before, they look pretty solid as a team that was missing a player up until Ache was up then. So that was just good to see as a whole, and just moving to like the forward line, and just trying to like move away from Corey Baird because like we there's not much to say other than that like he did what he had to do and just got the 3 goals and assist. So that was probably a career night for him. So congrats to him to get the group going at this point because we're gonna need all the goals, especially in MLS.
Yeah, all right, so we will digress from Corey Baird. Great, good job getting your freaking hat trick, bro, and great the penalty kick, awesome. His first goal, which was the second goal, his little tap over the keeper. He made a good run, and Alio almost interfered because he was making a run as well almost to the same freaking space, but Baird was out forward. So Aliu, I think, recognized and saw Baird at the last second and backed off, and Baird just kind of flicked it over the keeper. So great job because it looked like that keeper was going to make the save if he tried to put it in the corner. And then of course the third one, yay, Corey Baird. Where's this guy coming from, man? I wasn't sure if it was real, and it was opposite of the supporter section, so it was across the field. So I was like, I had to look at everybody. Well, of course, everybody looked at me and said, look like I'm the biggest Corey Baird hater or whatever, but
Hater.
it's clear. I just don't like Corey Baird as a striker at all. I can't stand that, and that's more on Ben Olsen's tactics maybe than less than Corey Baird. But hey, he was on the wing. He played well. He had Quinones behind him causing trouble as well. Quinones all of a sudden looking good,
Yep.
and and then friggin' man, hey. Finally, a change that everybody's been talking about and asking for, and we got to see a glimpse of it in the Open Cup. Was Bossy playing as a cam? Just roaming the middle of the midfield right there in front of Saucedo and Brooklyn Reigns. So it was cool. It was interesting, and you saw the ball going forward a little bit more. And I think that's his mentality. He likes to go forward. Uh, Coco doesn't look quite as forward as much as Bossy, and so you saw the difference kind of immediately right there between the two because it's usually Coco in that position. But hey, I like it. Let's see what happens whenever we get into the Austin game and see if Bossy continues playing well.
Oh, yeah, and Bas is a cam. You mentioned it. Like he's a threat, and just watching this game, I just feel like just plugging in Basi as a cam from this point on. I just feels like he adds more production to like create more opportunities and score more goals because like he was still productive at just playing as a forward, but at the same time, like you can clearly see from this game that he was just producing more, and just look like it was like it's way more natural position compared to like just being a forward. And that just opens the door to obviously having Corey Baird as a like on the wing and involve either Thor or Sebas like as a nine, and just like start plugging in if either Franco or now that you have Ibrahim Aliyu in the mix. So it's just I feel like for that it opens a lot of doors, but definitely as like a question mark to it, like involve Coco, and that's just one of the things that I was also brought up on Twitter before we started recording this episode because Chris Righteous did ask about having like any thoughts on Coco because he mentioned that I'd say he drops a solid 6.5 most games, maybe more others, but it's the final decision that keeps him from being an 8 out of 10 for me. Mostly like being a very um, efficient player in the middle of the park. Is he being played out of position, or does he just keep need to be better? And I feel like in this particular situation, it's pretty tricky only because we are loaded with midfielders, and I feel like at this point Ben Olsen is just trying to like figure out a effective role with him. And I don't know what you would think, OSG.
He's an 8 playing a 10, and he's not a 6. He's an 8, and I think he's playing a role that he's used to. He's 8 and a 10 very different. 10 goes forward. 8 typically goes wide. Looks for those through ball, those wide passes, those channels or whatever. And then the 10 is the one who's looking for that final pass into the danger zone. So it's just different positions and different mentalities. So it could be the fact that he is playing out of position and maybe he does belong more as an 8. So I don't know if we can then this 3-5-2 that we're looks like we're going to be running more. Is there a way to, can we get Coco, Arthur, Ache Ache, and Bossi on the field at the same time in the midfield, and then see what happens up top with either Baird and obviously it's starting to look like Aliyu more than Thor or Seabass or anybody. So it's just a question, but there's a lot of options and people are starting to play a little bit better. Of course, time's running out on a couple of them, so they better step it up. It's interesting, but I think Coco just he's an 8 playing a 10, and his mentality's still an 8. So he plays like an 8, even though he's pushed up a little bit further. And so I think the difference was Bossie's the creative 10, and we knew he was a cam when we brought him in. We just didn't get the opportunity to use him. And you don't bench Coco straight up from day one. So looks like Bossie kind of earned it. Coco's got to figure it out. He played on the wing against Austin whenever a Saturday game happens. So it's he played a little forward, a little right. But hey, I don't know what we're going to do with him going forward. And so, for the benefit of Coco now, I hope he gets to go back to Europe and we can sell him.
No, yeah. And the last thing I wanted to mention from this game is the thing involving Nelson Quinones. Like it's early this season, he's been like a pretty big question mark because he wasn't as involved in every game as he is now. Because in the past few games now he's been like way you're seeing way more involved, like creating more dangerous opportunities, and like I think he's getting the groove going, which is good to see because I believe his loan deal ends this summer, and they have to figure out what to do with him, either letting him go or letting him stay for like another period of time. And it's a pretty interesting situation at this point because we're only like a couple months out from like this loan deal expiring potentially, and it's and like right now the fact that he's getting um um like more dangerous on the field of play, it makes it a situation that uh, like obviously it would be good to him to have him on the roster, especially as a depth piece, but you have to figure what to do with him right now. So I don't know what you think, OSG.
No, it's tough, bro. I mean, it's tough. I mean, obviously we're playing midweek games right now, and we're playing weekend games. So it's obviously you could play a rotation. Whoever gets benched that game comes off the bench and plays later. I.e., in the Open Cup game against Minnesota, Ache Ache got benched for the Open Cup start for Reigns, but Ache Ache came off the bench and played the last 30 minutes. So obviously he's fit and he's form. He's 90-minute fit to where he could play 2 games a week or 1.5 games a week. And maybe that's something where Coco's going to have to end up doing is playing 1.5 games a week coming off the bench. Uh, maybe Archer needs to get in, and Saucedo need to take a break, and we can play, two eights and a friggin' 10 right there, and put more wings if we're, i.e. against Chicago, whose defense sucks, and but they like to score a lot of goals themselves. One of those that looks like it could be a 4-3 or a San Jose. I don't know. He's got options though, so it's just curious. Quinones, I like how he's adapting to the MLS, and he's starting to use his speed a little bit more to his advantage, and not just on the wings, even in the middle of the field where he's cutting across the middle of the field and taking a few opportunities. And he's got some good power behind his foot. So I guess he's got a little over a month. So give him the opportunity. And if he ends up working out and we sign him, so be it. I'll judge him when that time comes. But right now, uh, he might need to be we might need to let him go back home just because we need the roster spot anyways if we have any potential summer signings at the same time.
Well, yeah, and just that's just interesting to think about, especially in what happens in the next couple months. And yeah, from this game, Dynamo with the 4-0 win in the Open Cup to move to the quarterfinals. They will now visit Chicago Fire in June, and I was pretty disappointed with this road trip because Chicago, they did face Austin FC in the other side next to us in the bracket, and if Austin would have win this game, then we would have visited Austin FC instead. But because Chicago won, then they get the priority to host the quarterfinals. So that's disappointing, especially from Austin. So bad job, Austin. And speaking of Austin, we will play them this weekend in MLS, and we beat them 2-1. And so, yay, we that's I feel like that's a fair punishment for them. I don't know what you think.
No, it wasn't fair. It was only 2-1, so it was an okay punishment. But it was losing to the Houston Dynamo, the two-starred Houston Dynamo, for the second time this season when you only got one more game left to play against us, and then they have to make that stupid long drive that I make every single weekend back. Um, I know there it was a long drive for some of them that went back that same night, and if they spent the night and went back the next morning, it was probably even longer because you had to sleep on it and think about it, wake up and remember life is real. You lost, so But hey, it was fun, dude. 16,000 fans was kind of what I was expecting. Not a sellout, not too many, not too lot of the fans because there just wasn't a lot of hype for the game. Austin wasn't even hyped for the game. I think they brought 125 people. You could see them there, but I think they obviously brought less than what they did last time. But hey, your rival, your in-state rival, one of your three rivals. So yes, they are a rival, even though there's not a history between us yet. And they're still a friggin' rival, no matter what y'all people say. Hey, I'll take it 2-1 win. And what's the captain do? Puts another one behind the net. And so I love it, bro. I love it. And it was fun to be there. Great atmosphere. Great atmosphere. Got the big flags rocking, and the El Bation was just rocking the entire time. And even though Austin scored the first goal, we had to do a comeback victory, 2-1. Crazy, huh? I said that. That's real.
Yeah, and the main thing I wanted to start with this game is obviously the goal that we conceded, since we conceded our second goal of the year here and in MLS. And if I remember correctly from watching the highlights, and maybe there's something that came off of a set piece, and maybe or like squared inside the
Hmm.
box, and maybe that's something that we have been having issues as of late. So, and I think that was I guess his hardest, which is like one of those players that has been quite not as scoring as he was hoped to be. But I don't know what to add to that.
So yeah, I'm glad you asked that question because there was a lot of blame to one particular player on that play who misses Zardes. But there's a there's a lot to talk about that. So you obviously you saw the replay. I don't know how many times you watched the replay just to get a focus on it. It was a ball play down the wing that he was not marked. It was an easy cross into the box, and it was one of those where the cross was he he wasn't deep down the line yet, so it was one of those crosses that came from like outside the box, but it had to go into the box. So it wasn't like in the box and then curving away from the keeper. So the keeper wasn't coming out for that one to try to intercept. But you had Bartlow and you had Steres in the box, and you had Zardes by himself standing in the box. And Zardes was standing by himself with probably, about 4 yards, 4 to 5 yards between him and Bartlow, and then 4 to 5 yards between him and Steres on both sides. So if you just drew a straight line across the paper right here, you got the cross, you got Bartlow, you got Zardes, and you got Steres, and the ball dropped right over Bartlow, right on the start on the Zardes, and then Steres was standing uh, behind Zardes, and he put it right in the corner. Keeper couldn't do nothing about it. So before I tell you what my thoughts is and whose fault it is. Sorry, that's a little bit harsh. Who should have done a better job on that defensive play? What would you have thought, or what would you thought? Who's to blame right here, bro? Let me just ask the damn question, even though I'm not trying to be so harsh.
Man, I was trying to see like from the highlights because like one of the bad things I noticed about like the highlight reels is that those move pretty fast. Just to see like how
Yeah.
the sequence went down, but the last man like covering Sardis. So I think it was either Bartlow or Mikael. I'm probably wrong, but do you remember?
So Miyakawa was on the left, out on the wing. He
Gotcha.
was trying to get out and cover the cross coming in. So when the cross came in, it goes over Bartlow's head, and Bartlow's got nobody to mark, but he's facing play. And then you have Steres behind. Steres not marking nobody either. He's facing play, but he has Zardes in front of him, so he has Zardes in his view while he's watching gameplay at the same time. Bartlow did not have that advantage. Zardes was behind Bartlow, and so I don't know if anybody was communicating to Bartlow to let him know that somebody was there. But at the same time, you're supposed to know where your man marks is. But as a coach, and when I watched the replay and I saw it happen, my first instinct is Steres, you're not marking your man. Bartlow was doing his job. He was covering the front post. He's covering the space. The cross was coming in, and it just was over his head. The back door should have been covered. Steres wasn't marking nobody, and Zardes was just kind of hanging out, pinpointing him right in between them. So, and if you watch the replay again, you can look at Bartlow turned around and Steres tapped his chest. So it looked like Steres was admitting that it was his fault. So, yeah, not trying to throw blame onto Steres. I do believe it was Steres' mark, but there was just a lot of Bartlow hash that was just going out from everybody. And I've just been such a supporter of Bartlow all season, and I think he's been doing a great job. And I think it's a little harsh to completely blame him for that goal being given up. It kind of should have been both. Bartlow should have known that Zardes was there, maybe been closer to him, and still had front of play on him. Steres definitely should have had him marked. So like I said, my blame goes on Steres, but either way, Zardes was open. Zardes' 100th goal is the MLS, so good for him. Whoop-de friggin' do.
No, yeah. Bad times over. Let's talk about the good times. So, Hector Herrera. Not a lot we have to
Woo!
say for Achache this season, but I mean, just coming up big and getting that equalizer like 50 minutes after conceding, and that it is credit as unassisted, but Basi like sending the ball through Aliyu to get Hector Herrera to get in the back of the net. That was a pretty good
Well,
sequence.
actually, it was Bossy who was playing that cam position again in the midfield in this Austin game. So he did it in Minnesota, he did it for Austin. But yes, so Bossy turned left and he saw Aliyu making that little run. And I like the way Aliyu makes his runs, bro. He's smart because if you watch him off the ball, he was moving away from goal at first and he was staying on side at the same time. And then when the ball was played to him, he went towards goal and he went towards the ball. And he made the play, but it was towards Coco, and Coco was kind of marked right there. So Coco tried to take a shot, it got deflected, and that's why the assist got lost. And Hector Herrera comes running across and picks it up. And somehow, that old man, he got there before the other guys did. And he got there in time, and he put it right where he needed to get the friggin' brilliant golazo. And it was friggin' awesome to see, bro. Awesome to experience. It was just friggin' awesome. It was right there in front of the supporters. Ache Ache. It was just great to see. It was friggin' awesome, dude. And Bossy playing the cam, making a friggin' difference right there. Making a friggin' difference for sure.
No, yeah, and these. they wouldn't score the second goal up until the 88th minute, but I did see like Houston had a couple opportunities, especially the free kick from Achache that nearly got in up until it was saved. Would you say that in this game, like in this period of time up until the second goal, like Houston was threatening, or at least like had like a lot of opportunities? Because I did see on the stats that they have like 6 shots on goal and like 15 shots in total.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, easy, easy money. Houston was pushing the envelope on Austin in the second half, and it was just we were just Austin's like really bad place right now. So just to defend them for 2 seconds. All right, I'm done defending them. They suck. But we were just able to pressure and to cover and not allow them to do anything that was dangerous besides that one Zardes cross. And they're hurting, and we took advantage of it. Aliyu making run after run after run after run, forward runs, right? Forward runs, and the Mbasi looking at those passes and making those friggin' passes was just friggin' just great. But and then we only made what 3 subs towards the end of the game instead of using the 5 with Quinones coming in and looking good again. Looking good. Thor came in, but he was quiet. He didn't do nothing. And then, of course, you saw what Franco did, just fighting for the friggin' ball in the net. But we outplayed Austin. XG was better. Shots were better. I think they might have had better chances in the end, but we took our shots. We took our opportunities. We had more possession. We made more passes. 5 offsides though, so I forgot to mention that against Minnesota was 3 offsides. This one was 5 offsides, so you can tell now we really are trying to go forward a little bit more, and I'm pleased with that because when you go forward, you create more opportunity, you get more shots, more opportunity to score goals, and you need more goals to win because we're not getting that right now. So great win. It was great to celebrate right there, and you know how Austin feels.
Of course. No, but yeah, Hector Herrera pretty much is the MVP tonight again with his fourth assist and his third goal of the season. Ivan Franco, of course, getting his first goal with the Dynamo to get a big 3 points at home and the second consecutive victory against Austin this season. So good, big shouts going around, especially this team. And like I mentioned before, they do have like a couple big road trips coming up, Vancouver and St. Louis, and they need all the morale they can get, especially all the mojo as well, because these two teams, especially us on the road, they're pretty good.
And I mean, this is the point of the. This was just a good win to have going into this point of the season right now, where we have 3 road games coming up back to back to back. Where we haven't won on the road, unless you want to count Tampa Bay. We haven't won on the road. We have 2 ties and 4 losses or something. I don't 3 losses, whatever it is. We haven't won on the road. What's the point? But so Vancouver, I think that's a winnable game. It's during the middle of the week. I think our depth is good enough that it may be better than Vancouver's to where we can go up there and actually get a road win. It's indoors, so we don't got to worry about friggin' weather or anything like that. It's not going to be hot. It's not going to be cold. It'll be comfortable. So just go up there, play soccer. Don't worry about the road because I don't think they're going to have that many fans either. So it'll kind of be feel like playing at home. So what's the difference? Treat it as a home team, as a home game. And then St. Louis, which is going to be huge because St. Louis is doing okay right now. They're still like second, third, or fourth in the friggin' West. So we're going to break a champagne bottle on that stadium and see if we can concede on Tim Barker, and then while we're there, see if he can give us an own goal at the same time. I'm not asking him to do it. I just want it to happen to him. So it's not like he did it for us; it happened to him. So not like I don't like the guy. I wanted him gone. Remember that. Just make that clear. And then the Open Cup game at Chicago, bro, on a Tuesday night. So, you got Saturday St. Louis. So you got to think about what your rosters are going to be for both games. But at Chicago, freaking quarterfinal game. Oh, gosh, this is going to be crazy, man. It's going to be exciting. If we win that game, whoa. But it's going to depend on those first 2 games for momentum going into that game. So now's the time. This can make or break our season because we could go lose all 3 road games, and it just puts us in a down situation, and it's going to make it hard because then what do we have? LAFC back to back right after that. So we kind of we need to play well on this 5 game road trip, if you want to call it that, because actually LAFC's on the road, but with the home game fitted in right there. So it's tough, tough, bro. Make or break right now in the season, 3 to 5 games.
No, yeah, and we can definitely move to the next topic after you give us the roundup for the league, because I did see a couple of the highlights for some of the games, and I think this week in particular was pretty nuts, I'd say.
Yeah, it looks like a lot was going on, or for the friggin' weekend. So I'll just be quick with the roundup, just to make nothing too important. So just because we're playing Chicago in a week, just to say how they're playing, they went to New England and tied 3-3. So like I said, their defense sucks, but they can score. So interesting, you know. Uh, then of course our game, 2-1, Houston with the big win. So St. Louis with a huge win, 3-1 at home against Vancouver. So we got Vancouver coming up, like opponent, and then St. Louis coming up right after that. So that'll be interesting. So if we don't do well against Vancouver, then don't expect to do well against St. Louis, just based off this scoreline right here. So it'll be curious. LA Galaxy lose again, just to mention that, because of the drum roll they're on this season, where they're just sucking. They're just horrible. Sounders won their game, and then FC Dallas had to score late to beat San Jose, to tie San Jose 1-1. So lucky for them. And then Sporting KC, like they had one of those games where they just kind of woke up and said, "I'm scoring 4 against Portland," and beat Portland 4-1. So good for them. Nashville beat Columbus 3-1. And someone's going like, Fafa's having a good season, bro. I don't care if Fafa scored. I don't care if Fafa scored again. Shut up. He doesn't start every game. I really don't care about Fafa. No, just kidding. But yeah. So otherwise than that, bro, that's how everybody did. Cincinnati's still leading the East with 33 points. They're up by 5 with a game in hand. So somebody's gonna have to stop them pretty soon, because they've already got 10 wins. Don't let them run away with it. Enter Miami holding down the bottom of the Eastern Conference still with 5 wins already, but they have 9 losses, no draws. So curious to what they're doing. Seattle, like I said, Seattle's in first at 26, but St. Louis, man, they're sitting in second with 25, and they have 2 games in hand over Seattle. So technically, when we go to St. Louis, we could be playing the West Conference leaders. Friggin' St. Louis City expansion team. That's crazy to say, bro. And
Yeah.
and then and then LA is in third, who we got twice coming up in that 5 game span. We're back in the playoff spot in the 17th point. Woohoo! But we
Yeah.
got Vancouver sitting in 8th place, a point behind us. So this game right here, like we said, a make or break part of the season. We need to beat Vancouver, at least fight for a draw on the road, if that's what we're going to just kind of accept. So just maintain that top 7 and not let Vancouver pass us. We put Austin back down to 10th place, so they're back down, but they're only 2 points behind us. We have a game in hand over them, so we can put a little space between us. And then, of course, like I said, LA Galaxy still holding up last place, the worst team in history. Nah, the worst team in the league, and they might boycott their team before the end of this season.
No, yeah. With that, let's move to the dash. Road Warriors are at it again with a 2-0 win over KC Currents, our nemesis, our rivals, you would say. And man, I was really hoping to watch this game live, because I knew it was Road Warriors time, and yeah, they did it again. I don't know how to do it. I don't know how we can translate this to home games, because I'm tired, and I'm happy at the same time that the Dash get it done on the road.
Well, dude, like you said, it was against the rival, and Kansas City did play well that game. They did play pretty friggin' well. Dabinia was she didn't have the greatest of games, so maybe that's where she was slacking a little bit. And then La Bonita, or whatever you want to call her, she didn't sub in until the second half. So those two weren't on the field together until the last 30 minutes of the game, and it was already 2-0 Dash. So the Dashes, they put their work together, like you said, Road Warriors. It's like everything that ladies trying to teach, they did a lot better in this game than they did at home. And I don't know, we just play better I mean, granted, I'd walk out in a 21,000 seat stadium and see 5,000, 6,000 people. I'd be pissed off too. My momentum, my home field advantage doesn't exist. So maybe I feel better playing on the road because now I ain't got to play in front of 6,000 fans that I can hear them screaming at me because there's nobody else in the stands now. But good for friggin' Dash, good for friggin' Dash. But it was kind of curious to see what lineup Lady was going to put in because we had injured players returning to the team now. It looked like we were like clear and everybody's good to go. So I'll give you the lineup real quick and then let you see what you got some thoughts there. But of course, Jane Campbell still got another start, so Emily Alvarado hasn't gotten her opportunity yet. And while I'm on Campbell, I'll just go ahead and say she played fine. She didn't put herself in any situations, so great. And she actually got rated pretty well by Foot Mob too, just to give her a little extra bonus points. So good job, Jane Campbell. Yay. All right. Back line was hey, that's all right. I gave her the positives, man. That's
Yeah.
right. And it maybe came out negative there at the end, but so our wingers this game was Didasco, of course, and Chapman. That doesn't really change unless you just giving one of them a break. But finally, we got the dynamic duo back together. Katie Lynn and Ali Prysock are both playing center backs for the first time this season as a duo. I'm so happy for that because that's our number one and our number two right there. And happy, happy, happy. Midfield was Sophie Schmidt. Vigiano got the break again, got to sat on the bench. Sophie Hurst got another start, which I'm starting to look like she's a favor for Lady. And then Jolo Anderson got another start as well, playing that cam. Up top was Sanchez, Ordonez, and Olozi got to start, and Salmon got put on the bench this game. So it was a very curious lineup. Subbed in later was Cameron Tucker's. Ryan Gary's finally got back in and got her 30 minutes of playing time. Salmon came in, and then, yes, Shay Groom is back. She got her 11 minutes worth of playing time. And then Lindsay Jennings subbed in late for like stoppage time wasted. But so it was fun, bro. The game was actually good. It was a back and forth kind of game. It wasn't as frustrating as most of those home games are when you're sitting there watching it and you're like, what are y'all doing? What are y'all doing? What are y'all doing? What are y'all doing? So it was a little more controlled environment. Kansas City had their opportunities at the same time, but like I said, there wasn't no dangerous situation where Jane had to be put in a situation that just like no, no, no. So great job on the defense and holy hell, Ali Prysock first game back from like taking 2 games off or 3 games off. I forget it was 2 or 3. Man of the match easily. Man of the friggin' match easily. She was defensively everywhere. At one point, they had a through ball. Granted, it was only like 5-10 extra yards past price side, but she quickly made her game back up, and she got a foot on the ball. And credit to Jane Campbell, she didn't charge out. She just kind of came out a few steps and got big and was ready for the shot to come on. And I think that was a bonus right there for Jane Campbell. She made a smarter decision on her tactics, and then Pricelock was able to come back. So I love what Pricelock did that game, and that was my man of the match. I tweeted it, and then that's when uh, the game showed man of the match goes to Pricelock. I was like, yeah, I validated my tweet. So hell yeah. So great job, man, great job. And then the goal in the fight was uh, the Ordonez goal was just a great build up play. Alozi on the right wing. Yeah, you're just cross midfield on the attacking half of the field. You're working your way to the box, and she sends a cross all the way to Sanchez. And I thought she waited a little bit too long, but it ended up working out. It made it all the way to Sanchez. Sanchez made a nice touch, and instead of just kind of, and it was a precision cross into the box. She didn't try to she placed it like you're chipping the golf ball onto the green. She didn't want to put it on the hole. She wanted to put it out in front of the hole and let the ball bounce to the hole. So she kind of gave a little chip to Ordonez. Ordonez doing her NBA center style shielding, kind of shielded the ball around her. And then as she was kind of being pulled down, she just went down and scissor kicked that ball into the friggin' goal to break open the scoring. And then after that, it was the Dash just did their thing and played their freaking game, and it was just happy to see, proud to see. But like you said, road game, expected it. Move on. No.
So I did have a few things to say about this game. First of all, congrats to Jane Campbell for crossing 10,000 minutes played in
Oh yeah,
NWSL. So big shout for that. Even though we kind of started this podcast kind of like have not liking her a lot, though. I mean, still credit to her. Like she has been pretty big for Dash for a lot of seasons with in Houston now, and yeah, just it's quite an accomplishment really, just crossing 10,000 minutes already in the league, especially given the fact that she's like the longest standing Dash player at this point. And just going back to the lineup, I don't know if you saw the graphic, but the team was listed as a 3-5-2, and I feel like this it's most likely like a five in the back. I don't know if that's something you can say, like if it was more like a five in the back or just like uh, part of the graphic.
Nah, man, it's hard to say, dude. It was still it, it was more like a 3-4-3. So, because the way how we've been complaining about Didasco playing so offensively, so they pushed over. Didasco's playing so high, Chappie's been playing a little bit back, so it's more like a 3-4-3. But at the same time, it was still the 4-3-3, where Didasco still had to come back and play right back and play defense half the time. But again, Didasco was all over the place, but she's pushing up really high. So it looks like, yeah, we're playing with a back three right there, and maybe that's why Price like standing out a little bit more, because just she's just all over the friggin' place, and even Katie, Kate, Katie Lynn was even so happy for Price the way she played that game, and just the unit is back together. That dynamic duo is back together. So I'm excited. I can't wait till our next home game just to see how that dynamic duo plays together, and see if we can get a home friggin' win and not concede a friggin' goal, because it felt like Jane Campbell was a lot more comfortable with those two back there too at the same time, because there was an opportunity for Jane Campbell to make a decision, but she didn't make. Well, she did make a decision. She made the right decision, and maybe it's because, hey, I know Price, I know Katie Lynn, I know how they play. I can trust them a little bit more, and maybe that was the adjustment with Jacobs being in the middle for Campbell. But who knows? Yeah, like I said, everybody had a good game. Sophie Hurst had a good game. I'm starting to like how she plays a little bit better. Or Ordonez had a good game. Sanchez had an okay game. I think it was highlighted a little bit more on just that assist. Joel Anderson's still doing a good job in the midfield. I'm glad Groom is back, so I'd like to see Groom get some more time, because uh, Joel Anderson's not that creative. I think she's just doing a good job. She's big. She's got lengthy legs. She can get to where she needs to go, and she's just doing the job. She's a smart player. So I'd like to see some Groom over there and see if we can improve that position more. But like I said, we talked about that last week too as well. So I guess we don't want to drown anybody unless it's Campbell. No, I'm just kidding, bro. I didn't say that. Nah. I'm not just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm leaving Campbell alone. She had a good game. She deserves respect this week.
Yeah, with the clean sheet for sure, and
Yeah,
and, and
against the
yeah,
rival.
and just going back to Ali Price, obviously being involved in that big clean sheet, to and obviously getting that goal to put the game away. Would you say that Price just compared it to like a kind of role to like Teenage Adebi per se? Like, would you say Price is like moving forward a lot, or at least like helping the press, or it just like being part of that goal? Maybe something that she was at the right place at the right time, maybe. But yeah, I'm really interested to see how like your perspective on Price Lock is, because I've just from the games that I've seen her so far, she's being more involved.
Well, yeah, like so during open play, you can see her more centrally involved. Because you have Sophie Schmidt, who is our CDM, but she gets up pretty high sometimes too, and gets into that attack, which allows your defenders to get up high. And if you're only marking one forward, then yeah, Katie Lynn hangs back, Price goes up, or vice versa, or Chapman pushes over and covers the middle, so Price can push up a little bit. So yeah, you're right. You are seeing it, and like I said, the goal that Price scored on, it was actually a corner kick, so it was a set piece. And of course, you always know center backs get into the box on corner kicks, even though you wouldn't expect her being the not the tallest woman in the world, but she was there. And I want to, again, we talk about soccer IQ all the time. I feel like on this show, and I was doing it a lot with Dynalytics last year. Was just soccer IQ is very important. Price on her goal. She's on the far post, and I think it's Didasco ended up taking the corner kick, and it's going to the far post, and it's going deep. And at the last second, you see Ordonez duck, and just she ducks and she gets out the way, and Price heads the way, goes over the defender, and Price heads it into the goal. So when you watch the replay a few times, you look, and it looks like Ordonez sees the ball, it's coming. She's getting ready to jump, and the last second she looks behind her, and then she just ducks. And for what that tells me is Prysock was communicating and letting Ordonez know this my ball, my ball, my ball, and freaking she put it in the back of the net, and shout out to Ordonez for backing off and letting Prysock even have it because that's hard to do right in front of the friggin' goal too because that was inside the 6 yard box. And a big shout out for Prysock to even have the tenacity to even call off Ordonez and say that's mine. And shout out to the girls. They played well. They played well. The road needs to be our home.
I need. We have to figure something out, man. Because I'm like, can you guys please be this good at home? Like we need to win the
Oh
home games
yeah,
too. Like I know, they're kind of like the opposite of the Dynamo right now in the sense of the Dynamo on a game,
yeah.
so it's on the road. So man, we need to work on that. But no, yeah, big two nothing win for Dash on the road again to get back in the mix because I think in the NWSL standings are they're pretty even right now. And I don't know if you want to take this opportunity to do the roundup again, but like I did check it last time, and I think like the top four spots right now they're like I think they're like by a point or none really.
About the top five positions are 1 point separated, and the top six are 3 points separated.
That's
So
crazy.
friggin' nuts, bro. But yeah, man. So just nuts, nuts. So at the same after our game on Friday, San Diego Wave played Portland Thorns. They ended up tying 1-1. I kind of watched that game for a little bit because it was interesting the matchup right there. And then I didn't watch any other NWSL over the weekend, but of course everything just kind of went according to play. But the standings that you're talking about, bro, it's still friggin' Gotham up on the top. It's at the top. Everybody's played 9 games. Nobody's got a game in hand, and nobody's got no buys. There's only 12 teams, so everybody's playing every weekend. But Gotham's got friggin' 17 points, bro. 17 points. They got 2 wins and 2 draws in their last 4 matches. So they're unbeaten in 4. And we got them coming up in 2 weeks. So we got to get ready for them and not let them come to our house and friggin' beat us. Portland Thorns is second place technically with 16 points. El Rain was 16. San Diego Wave was 16. Washington Spirit was 16. North Carolina holds at the top 6 with 14 points. And then the Dasher in the 7th spot with 12 points. KC Current, who lost to us, holding up the bottom or holding down the bottom in 12th place. So, yeah, dude, it's friggin' insane right there how the parity in the NWSL is just so friggin' awesome. You got 5 and 4 win teams right there in the top 6, and Houston Dash with 3. Hence why they're not sitting in the top 6. So, and teams are scoring goal. Portland Thorns are just crazy with what they're scoring right now. But you know, Houston Dash, this is what's standing out right here. We've scored 7 goals all season, given up 9, so we have a -2 goal differential. Everybody else is in double figures, except the Orlando Pride, who we host next. So we got to figure something out on the offensive side as well for the friggin' Dash. We need that cam. That's what I keep calling for. We got the cam for the Dynamo. Shay baby, Shay baby, if you hear me, if you or someone else is hearing this, let her know. Shay baby, we need that cam. Hey, no problems with Joel Anderson and Sophie Hurst right now, but we need Shay baby back.
Or just give your legs to Barbara so she can be our cam because I miss her already. But yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
oh well. And
Give her some opportunity too. That's true, but yeah, we got so many players now, so that our depth is good on the dash as well. So it makes it hard for Lady to decide. But of course, he sees him at practice. He knows who he wants to go with, and they play a lot of small sided scrimmages, and there's a lot of telltale in those situations sometimes. It'll be curious as to what we do when we play Orlando at home this weekend.
oh yeah, and yeah, they do have Orlando this weekend. So we need please Warriors. We need the home Warriors, please. That's what we need right now too. But yeah, moving on to Dynamo 2. A they still face Austin FC stayed in town. Or at least Austin FC 2 did. And yeah, this time
Oh yeah,
around
the fans didn't.
they
There were
didn't show up.
four, no 14 fans showed up. We were expecting more Austin fans to show up, and 14 showed up, and it was kind of it was kind of laughable because Sabercat Stadium is the rugby stadium, and you have bleachers on both sides, and then you have bleachers behind the goals. Well, they only admission to bleachers that are behind the benches, which you don't see the fans when you're watching it on Apple TV, where we're sitting on the same side as the camera. This game, they opened up the stand behind the goal on the Austin side for 7, 8 people to sit over there because I guess they didn't want to come sit in the stands with the rest of us. And there was a few Austin people in the stands sitting down there too. So I don't know if they were just scared or wanted to sit over there or what, or just sit in the sun. I don't care, whatever. But yeah, they didn't show up. It wasn't what we expected. We tried to show up. Uh, Surge tailgate party. Wow, yeah, it was such an exciting tailgate party for the 7 of us that were there. So that was a little embarrassing that only 7 of us showed up for a tailgate party, but whatever. I was there early. I stuck around in Houston and went to the game too, and so there was a few of us there. There was a few Texian and there was a few El Bation that showed up. Of course, some players showed up as well. Mikel, Shevchenko. Oh, and Bossy showed up as well. So took a couple pictures with them and talked to them because Kendi Bunny made it clear that he wants the supporters of this game to be directly behind the players bench and his coaching technical area. So we were right there and we were making a lot of friggin' noise. And no, we didn't sit down. We stood on the rail directly behind the bench. I mean, it was actually kind of friggin' it was hilarious. Ashton Mendelson showed up to the game. He was there watching. It was cool. Great times. But I digress, and I'll let you jump into the game because I think I could talk about the pregame forever.
No, I mean, I thought it was a kind of interesting that unlike the the home finale last year, we had we're pretty much standing on the angle,
Yeah.
like
Yep.
like we were supposed to. I thought they were going to be doing this for this game, which that didn't happen, unfortunately. But at least everyone involved got to see the Dynamo 2 win over Austin FC 2 again, and like,
Hey, but for where they put us, I like it better. I liked being right behind the players bench, and you know, it, and then of course you're watching the game from a different angle. You're not watching it from behind the friggin' goal, where half the game is all the way across the field, and you're looking like you need your binoculars. So I like where they put us, and you get the different angle from the game. You get to participate with the players who are right there, and the coaching staff, and the referees, because we had to participate with the
oh
referees
yes.
in this one. Oh God, did we ever have to participate with the referees in this one? But it was a exciting times. But Kenny Bundy specifically, when he found out we were coming to the game during the week, he specifically asked for them to put us directly behind the coach's box and the team bench, and so they were prepared for it. The Dynamo were prepared for it, and there was quite a few people there. I don't know what the attendance is like because this is my first Dose game this year. So, but I would say there's quite a few more people there than there probably previously was. So, yay, woohoo! Shout out to Kenny Bundy, who when Kenny Bundy showed up to work before the team did, and of course he saw us over there. But I think the only reason he saw us over there because at the time we were playing with the big flag, the big, giant, massive flag that you see at the Dynamo games. Yeah, we were playing with that in the parking lot, and just waving it around. And Kenny Bundy saw it, and he came over and said hi. And of course, he knew a couple of us already, so he came over, said hi, introduced himself to me, and I said hi. And he's cool. He sat there and talked to us for about 10 minutes before he had to go back. And uh, what's the other embarrassing part about the Surge tailgate party is Kenny Bunny's family shows up to every game, and when I say family, he's got a girlfriend, and she brings her family to the game. Like her entourage was a lot more than what we brought to the game. And they bring the family, bro. They bring the family from ages from ages 4 maybe even younger, all the way up. Anybody wants to support Kenny Bundy, they're there. They do it as a family and as a group, and that was cool to see, and I appreciate that because like he even told us someone was like I don't even know soccer or don't understand soccer or don't know Dynamo or whatever, but they're still here every game supporting him no matter what. And it's just crazy and how many of them there were. But again, I digress. Shout out to Kenny Bundy for coming and checking us out in the parking lot before the game, and And then, of course, after the game, the players come and shook our hands at the rail because we're, like I said, we're right there, we're involved. But hey, let's get to the game because it was one of those games though where it was the referee just was horrible and inconsistently horrible for going both sides. It wasn't just us. It just kind of stood out for us, of course. And Austin was probably a little the better team during the game and had the better opportunities. But we made the two creative shots, bang bang, and Panabaker or whatever is however you say his name with the keeper had a good game, had a really good game, and then Taylor Maples had another great game with Morano in the middle. I like those two big bodies right there in the middle, and we were able to stop Austin, and Austin took their opportunities, but they just weren't able to pull up the net. We won 2-0, and it was great to get that big rivalry shut out and send them back on that long drive home that I made the same night. But mine was a happy drive.
No, yeah, and one of the things I wanted to check out from this lineup is that Griffin Dorsey played the whole 90 minutes, and he did get the assist for the Diego Gonzalez goal. By the way, shout out again to Diego Gonzalez, man. Like he's just been like
He's killing it.
firing. He's been killing it with Dynamo too, like getting his fourth goal tonight, and Griffin Dorsey with the assist, like I said, and yeah, both goals coming in from the first half, and kind of like I'm assuming it's just been pretty much like even with Austin getting all the opportunities, but uh, Dynamo too getting the win out of this one. And I did see you mention about like the officiating here, like Dynamo two getting all the yellow cards, just like the giant stack of yellow cards for Dynamo two, especially in the second half. But yeah, like it's I was interested to see if it because Griffin Dorsey looks like he was playing as a winger here. I wasn't sure if he was like getting more involved, and maybe you saw like a lot of Griffin Dorsey out of this game, particularly from previous games with the first team.
Yeah, so he was playing like on that five position on the back line for the defense. So he was playing more of a right wing back per se. So he was playing more up than defensively. He was the entire game, and he was out there on that wing. So yeah, he was playing pretty high, and it was kind of surprised to see him when he showed up to the stadium because of course you know where we're at. The players drive themselves to the games. We're at home, so then they park right next to us. So we've seen who's shown up to the game to get ready for it. And Dorsey shows up. We're like, what the heck, man? Dorsey's here? Okay, well, I mean, he didn't play for Dynamo, so let's get him over here, get him some time, so that works out. Make sure he stays in form. But he had a good game. But dude, this referee was just horrible. I mean, making so just deliberate bad calls, bad calls, bad call. I mean, I, just to give you a bad example, I could walk up and punch you in the face. You're gonna fall to the ground. It was blatantly clear I punched you in the face. Everybody saw it, but he's gonna come over. You're gonna get up and he's gonna give you a card because you dove. That's how we felt like, bro. That's how we felt like there was a few slide tackles. And like I said, it goes for both teams. There was a few slide tackles that was just it was from our angles. Obviously, it was clear all ball. Great tackles. And then the whistle blows. Like what? Oh, bro, you're not watching drama. You're refereeing a soccer game. Just because the dude hit the ground and grabbed his ankle, he's not hurt. It's not a foul. Just use your brain, bro. And then there was this one time the ball was on the sideline, and I mean, there's like a few yards between like the referee's table, the bench, and all that. So Griffin Dorsey kicked the ball 3 yards off the field when someone went to go pick it up, and that dude got up and he kind of like did this little slap on the stomach of a Griffin Dorsey, and the referee comes over and the AR told him to give Dorsey the card and not the other guy. And we're like, whoa, bro, what the hell's going on? And I mean, we were so close, like they clearly hear us clear as day, giving him so much shit. And even at one point, I told the referee, like, this is not how y'all become MLS refs. This is what MLS refs do. This is the typical MLS ref. So maybe you will make it as an MLS ref, but this is not how you do it, man. Y'all are horrible. What are you doing, bro? Ah, man. And then there's quite a few after referees that were dropped right there because it just got so friggin' bad and crazy. Luckily, there was just no red cards for us, at least. So, you know.
Oh yeah, and that's good. And the last thing I wanted to ask about this game, defensively speaking, because this game featured Talon Maples, Muji Murano, and Jathan Juarez in the back line again, and obviously Isaiah Flores, the floor back and like on the flank, and Pannenberg's still on goal because Xavier Valdez is still in the on 20 World Cup. And we just say that in this game, specific, especially in the second half, we just say that defensively they held things together. And now you mentioned that Austin FC to get a lot of opportunities in.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, the back line held it together pretty damn well, and Nathan Juarez, who I don't have a good example to show you right here, who's as big as my cup I'm drinking my soda out of. He had a great game marking this dude was not like a big muscle bound dude, but he was obviously a foot taller than this dude. He had more muscle on him, longer legs, and Juarez, just a little quick, speedy, little agility guy, just was able to defend his position well. And uh, Maples played well. There was one point in the game where the referee just blew a call, and and someone had to come down and come calm Talon Maples down for a second to remember, hey, you're the captain, remember that. But as far as the back line, yes, they held it together. There was no easy, clear opportunities for Austin to put a shot on goal. Nothing too dangerous. Everything that kind of bounced around in the box was cleared out pretty quick by Maples and by Morano. Uh, and the midfielders did a great job of covering the top of the box. I think Austin's midfield was a lot better than ours yesterday, and that's why they had twice as many shots as we did, but they just didn't put nothing that was too dangerous on target, and we took our two opportunities, and it was kind of deja vu because when we scored in the 11th minute, and what happened when we were in Austin, we scored first. So I'm like, okay, well, yeah, we scored first. Hey, okay, calm down, settle down. And then Auguste with the friggin' he did a laser into the goal, friggin' laser into the goal to score that second one before 5 minutes before halftime, making it 2-0. Then I felt a little more confident. I felt better, but I knew I still had a second half. Had to see how those come out and play. But yeah, backline played very well together. Even the late subs that came in, they maintained what the job was supposed to be, and they did it well together. And I think they're the ones that helped us win the game today because of the defensive line. It gave the opportunity for us to score the two goals and then not concede ourselves, and it was just a great showing all around for the boys.
Yeah, that's good to know and good to hear as well, and your experience in the game as well. But yeah, Dynamo 2 coming out with a 2-0 victory over Austin FC 2 to close this week with four dubs.
Four dubs,
Four,
four dubs.
not three dubs for each team, four dubs, which is crazy. But yeah, and before closing things out, if you want to give us like our MLS next roundup for our rival teams, because we do know that Austin FC 2 did get the L this weekend, but what about North Texas?
Yeah, bro. North Texas played twice, tied twice, and lost twice in penalty kicks. So they tied 3-3 and 2-2 and lost in penalty kicks both times because they played two games this week. And then Sporting KC, if I was, shoot, I forgot about that one. It's been so long since I looked at it. Sporting KC, I want to say here we go. I can find it now. Sporting KC. So we got, oh yeah, I was going to tell you about LA. LA ended up tie in Tacoma and then losing on penalty kicks. So that's who our next opponent is going to LA this next Sunday. And then that's right. SKC lost to Real Marnock 0-1. So I guess a good weekend for our rivals because all of them lost only North Texas gained points because they ended up tying, but SKC lost. Austin friggin' lost and we won. So bada boom, bada bing. Like I said, we go to LAFC next. Who LAFC is holding up the bottom of the West still after 7 games. They've got a whole no, sorry, after 9 games, yeah, they got a whole 7 points. But as far as the West goes, Colorado's starting to want to run away with the top. They have 27 points. Vancouver Whitecaps have 21, and then Austin FC has now been knocked down to third with 19 points. So we're trying to catch them up a little bit. Houston's in fifth with 16 points. So uh, we got a little bit of work to do, but that's a good start to go ahead and beat these guys and let them know that their win in Austin was a fluke. Nah, I don't think it was a fluke. It was a good win for them. But North Texas is sitting at 7, SKC sitting in 8th. So still got some games to do, but we got to continue to play well like they did this weekend and get huge wins. Now we're on the road. I think LAFC. Whoa, we've already played them once this season, right?
Oh yeah,
Yep.
we played at home. Yeah.
Yeah, we tied them 0-0 and beat them in the freaking penalty kick. So we got lucky and got out of that. But now let's go to LAFC and let's just kick their butt. So that's your roundup. One other thing, remember we're so close to the players that they can literally hear our conversations. So we had one guy with us who might have been a little bit inebriated, but he was giving Papa Ndoye, who did not get to start, was on the bench. He was giving him some pep talks the entire game and just messing with him, and it took a minute. But Papa finally gave some reactions, and it was hilarious. Just getting the player reactions and just hearing us talk to him, because literally, like I said, we were literally right behind him, and it's clear as day as me talking to you right here. The conversations that we were having with him, and Kenny Bunny was cool as hell, and the coaching staff was cool as hell. Didn't stop us from interfering with his players or anything like that. But credit to the players, they ignored us for the most part. They just kind of looked back, give us a thumbs up, smiled, answered our question when we asked what the favorite Gatorade color was. Just messing with them. So like I said, it was fun, talking to the players, talking to the first team players that showed up to the game. I didn't talk to Asher, but he was there at the game. He was there standing right behind us, and of course, I did. I need to make a correction because I did post on Twitter last night when I got home that I've got 2 dubs in my pocket going back to Austin. Can anybody else say that? Yeah, well, I do need to make a correction because I'm not the only one that drove back to Austin last night or today, actually, because, the Maples family, they live over here kind of close. So they drove back with a couple of dubs in their pocket as well. And I'm only one person coming back. I'm pretty sure they were a nice contingent of the family that showed up to that game last night. So each one of them had a dub and had 2 dubs in there. So we brought a bunch of dubs back to Austin. In case y'all are just feeling out of whack today in the 512, it's our fault. Texas is orange.
That's a lot of dubs in their pockets. But yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's some sound logic right there. So no complaints from me. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for tuning into this episode. It's definitely good to have all teams winning, and it should be that way. Come on, guys, just keep it up. Just keep winning. Like, that's all we ask for.
Keep it up, man. Keep it up. Don't forget, we got a game on Wednesday night at 9:30. So y'all get off work, take a nap, and be ready for that game. Stay up late, support the boys, and then we got Road Warriors this weekend, except the Dasher at home. So if you're in town, you got an option. You go to the Dash game, or you stay at home and watch both games on the TV. So it's up to you how you want to do the setup. If it's my choice and I was living in Houston, I'd probably be going to the Dash game and have to watch the replay of the Dynamo game just because I support my team when I'm at home. But, enjoy everybody else that goes to St. Louis and be safe, y'all. And we'll talk to y'all next week. Like
Hey, guys.
said, H is up.
Yep. Stay noodle.